Sir Ed Davey, thank you so much for joining us here on Sky News. Your decision not to go to the state banquet at the invitation of the King has been described as disrespectful.
No, I have huge respect for the King. This is a very difficult decision, which I've really wrestled with, talking to my wife, actually praying about. But the reality is Donald Trump is the one person who could stop the horrible famine in Gaza City, could get the hostages released, could bring an end to this whole horrendous humanitarian crisis. And he can do that because he has the power of the White House to phone up Prime Minister Netanyahu and tell him to stop. He can phone the Qatari government and other Gulf states so they can put pressure on Hamas to release the hostages. So I didn't want the visit of Donald Trump to pass without him being reminded that he has that power and pressure coming from a public debate from both the British public and politicians on the US president. He has to act.
Sir Ed Davey, I'm glad you mentioned Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas, of course, who have agency in stopping the violence in Gaza. But this is being described as political posturing. I mean, you're a member of the Privy Council.
It's not at all. When people have seen on their television sites the sites of young children, you can see their skeletons because they are suffering from starvation. You've seen the lifeless bodies of children killed while they're queuing for food and water, and you've seen the emaciated hostages paraded by the appalling Hamas. We have to act. And the sad truth is that it's Donald Trump who has the power. He's the one man who can do this. And I didn't want him to come to the UK without being reminded, as best I can, that he has that moral responsibility, frankly. And from what I'm picking up from many people, there are people across the political spectrum who agree with me and the Liberal Democrats that it is Donald Trump, it is the United States who has this power over Netanyahu, over Hamas, albeit indirectly, to stop this horrendous situation. And that's why I've taken this action very reluctantly. I've been to many other state banquets. It's been a huge honour to join the King and be on his side. But I've written to him personally, explaining my thinking. And it's with deep regret that I've had to take the decision. But I feel with what is going on in Gaza, it's the best way I can get my voice heard.
Sir Ed Davey, as you mentioned, there are many people across the political spectrum who probably feel the same way as you do, but also who will respect the King enough to go to this state banquet. So I don't want to imagine what's in the King's mind, but perhaps he feels very upset about what he's seeing on those screens, but he has to do his duty as the King. Don't you have a duty as a member of the Privy Council to take part in this invitation for the President?
Well, I think my respect for the King isn't under question. I have huge respect for him and the royal family and support for our monarchy, our constitutional monarchy. I have a different role, and that is as an opposition party leader who has been questioning the Prime Minister on this, pushing for greater action. Liberal Democrats have a track record of arguing that the government should do more, but also pointing out that the real power lies with President Trump. And having been to these state banquets, I know you don't get a chance to speak to the head of state who's visiting or even his senior entourage. That's not how it works, regrettably. You get seated someone lovely who you get to speak to, but unfortunately it's not someone at the top table. So this is the best way. And what I hope will happen is there will be debate. I'm grateful for you having me on your programme so I can make the argument to many people. And when Parliament gets back next week, I'll continue to make that argument so that Donald Trump is left in no doubt that so many people in the UK are looking to him to do the right thing.